Hello, and welcome to Next on Air, and welcome to our session on managing enterprise scale distributed business and operations on Google Cloud. Before we jump into our exciting talk today, let me take a moment to introduce ourselves. I'm Ananth Sundarrajan and manage the go-to-market function for telco, media, entertainment, and gaming in the Google Cloud Professional Services. I am joined by Venk Subramanian, Director of Engineering at Unity, who has been instrumental in Unity's migration into GCP. I also have Som Roy, who heads our professional services team in the San Francisco region. In this session, we will walk you through how Unity and Google are partnering on making this world a better gaming place. We will walk through Unity's migration journey and how Unity has been managing, scaling, and unlocking the power of their GCP environment, especially during our current pandemic situation. We will also walk through the behind-the-scenes story of how Google Cloud account teams and professional services teams have been and continue to support Unity throughout this entire journey. Before we dive into the details, for those of you who have not heard about the Google and Unity partnership, here's a quick overview from Venk.
Hello, I'm Venk, and I'm a Director of Engineering here at Unity. We are the world's leading platform for creating, operating, interactive real-time 3D content. Here at Unity, we believe the world is a better place with more creators in it. This is our philosophy, and it is at the heart of everything we do. We want to empower developers with our real-time 3D technology to help turn their dreams into reality. Unity focuses on giving content creators a single end-to-end solution for everything they need to create, and we do that with best-in-class tools and workflows that empower content creators to do more and operate, enabling creators to launch their content and support it with a full stack of engine-agnostic services that make things easier for developers, keep their content running, help them optimize it, and even monetize and drive revenue through in-app purchases or serving ads. To give you an idea of our scale, 3 billion apps were downloaded last year that were made with Unity. Half of all games are powered by Unity, averaged across console, PC, and mobile. And those games and content from many other industries run across 20 platforms, including game consoles, mobile phones, AR/VR devices that Unity supports. We give developers the power to target and optimize their content to reach the widest possible audience. I also want to highlight that our cloud services usually operate at over 100,000 requests per second, so building a strong GCP management foundation was critical to our success.
To support Unity's global scale and developer needs, Google has partnered with Unity for years on a broad and significant level across the company. A number of official strategic partnerships help power critical elements of the Unity platform and solve hard problems for their developers. For example, Google Cloud's partnership with Unity puts connected games at the fingertips of all developers. Regardless of engine choice, they have access to tools to build live multiplayer games more easily and without needing to be a cloud expert. We also provide the backend cloud for nearly all of Unity's cloud-based products to run on. Stadia and AR Core partnerships offer integrated platform support to Unity game developers that want to publish to those platforms with familiar tools and workflows that make it easy for them to build once and deploy anywhere. AdMob's partnership opens up Unity's extensive mobile ad network to Google brand advertisers and streamlines how publishers with Unity mobile games can monetize their apps. And finally, DeepMind leverages Unity for research platform to run large-scale simulations in virtual environments to accelerate AI and machine learning research. If you go a layer deeper into all of these partnerships, a key factor driving success is how well Google and Unity teams collaborate on everything from product development and capacity planning to technical support, co-marketing campaigns for product launches, and much more. This mindset is especially true of Google Cloud's partnership with Unity. In relatively short time, we joined to kickstart the Connected Games initiative that I just mentioned, and as part of it, co-founded OpenMatch, an open source project created to help game developers solve the tricky problem of matchmaking, which is matching the right players together in a live multiplayer environment. We were thrilled to release the production-ready OpenMatch 1.0 earlier this summer. GCP infrastructure also helps Unity's Multiplay, a game server hosting platform, scale into the cloud when needed to support new game launches and unexpected player demand spikes. This was the case last year when Respawn launched the Battle Royale game Apex Legends. 50 million gamers went online to play in the first 24 days, including 1 million in the first 24 hours. Flexibility was crucial. GCP helped Multiplay scale quickly into its servers in seconds, not hours, with zero downtime. Unity Simulation and Unity Game Simulation, two exciting new cloud-based products in open beta, also run on Google Cloud, allowing Unity to accelerate product development and operate both servers at scale. All this amazing work that Google Cloud and Unity have achieved so far started with migrating Unity's infrastructure onto GCP. Unity's philosophy of democratizing game development is synonymous with their vast and distributed engineering footprint. With key development hubs spread across 3 continents, this posed a unique challenge for the migrating teams to work cross-border towards a single goal. To support this geographically distributed migration, the professional services team was quick to bring together amazing individuals across the globe who ensured not just technical presence in each of Unity's development hubs to provide technical assistance and guidance, but also to be close to Unity's team and partner with the teams during the migration, and also celebrate together once the migration was completed. We completed the entire migration over a course of 9 months. The key here is the first 3 months we spent on discovering, strategizing, and planning the migration. By the end of the 3rd month, we had a clear understanding of how and when we wanted to migrate the workloads to minimize any disruption. But the journey does not end with the completion of migration. Rather, it only created a launch pad for all the future workloads Unity was able to bring onto GCP. We launched Apex Legends, game we just spoke about earlier, in Q1 of 2019, right after the migration. And since then, we've been working on onboarding Unity's acquisitions, such as Vivox, Delta DNA, Chili Connect, and Furios onto GCP. This increased footprint also required careful planning in terms of capacity in key markets, both on Google's side and the Unity side, to ensure scaling when needed. We saw the results of this careful planning when the number of gamers surged during the past 6 months. Let's get into some of the details of how Unity has been managing this large GCP landscape with a very agile team. I will let Venk walk us through the secret sauce.
Last year at Next, we talked about how to effectively manage a migration to GCP. This year, we'd like to follow up with what happens once you're running in GCP. This next section will help you understand how to efficiently manage a business at scale in the cloud. The first thing to plan for is continuing the momentum and engagement you've gathered moving over to GCP. Don't wait to finish up. Plan ahead. Here are some examples of ways we did that. We re-architected key portions of our stack to leverage GCP managed technologies. New products like Unity Simulations were built foundationally to leverage GCP. We also work closely with Google to build our partnership through joint initiatives. After setting the initial direction, we had a simple vision going forward with managing our high-scale technology in GCP. Manage your operating expenses like you manage your revenue. This vision was realized in 3 strategic areas: GCP organization, budget management, and capacity planning. Let's dig into the first strategic area of focus, GCP organization. I have found that Conway's Law provides valuable insight into setting up effective technology organizations. In our context, Conway's Law states that a system will mimic the organization structure that built it. We applied this principle to enable engineering teams by setting up GCP to mirror the organizational structure within Unity. For us, that meant a flat project and folder hierarchy, where folders lined up with organizations and projects lined up with product services. We also automated all these capabilities so engineering teams were empowered to own their infrastructure, while at the same time following common standards, including business level tagging to make it easy to track spend and map it to products. We restricted and automated production access using Slack bots and provided standard modules that engineering teams could use to build VMs, databases, and more. Finally, we applied Conway's Law in reverse to set up our core infrastructure teams to mirror the GCP management systems we put in place. This also included establishing a DevOps culture within each organization, so they were empowered to own their infrastructure and organize in the way that suited their business. Today, we have established successfully a DevOps group in every organization across Unity. Let's move on to our second strategic area of focus, budget management. GCP provides a deep set of tools to manage enterprise scale budgets, further enhanced by partnership with TAMs. Let's break this area down into a few sections. The first section is spend. The most important thing for you to know and understand is your spend. Not just the numbers itself, but how it relates to products, services, and technology. GCP provides helpful tools here for you to regularly review the breakdown of where your GCP spend goes using reports. Once you understand your spend, you can build custom reports for leadership visibility and also to enable your teams to own and manage their GCP spend. Data Studio is a great tool here. The next section is to focus on forecasting. This creates the ability for you to have predictable future GCP spend. Here are some simple guidelines. Tag all your infrastructure with business-related information. Formulate a unit. This means creating a formula that maps your GCP spend to your business outcomes. In our case, an obvious one was the GCP cost to serve up a single request, and establish that cost as the baseline we wanted to optimize. Once you have a unit, create automation so you can regularly attribute GCP spend to these units. It also helps to understand your discounts and credits in order to do this. Establish a process of doing regular forecasting, and do that by integrating it into your business planning processes. It also helps to have a cross-expertise working group to manage and optimize this forecast. Finally, plan and commit. GCP provides helpful tools to commit, including GKE committed usage discounts, BigQuery fixed slots, and more. For you to be able to commit, you need to have an effective planning methodology. Look to align with your business strategy. The last strategic area of focus to cover in managing GCP is capacity planning. This lets you plan ahead for any cloud technologies you'll need to scale into and collaborate with Google ahead of time. Here are some key points. Work with Google to understand your region, zone, and SKU limits. Use forecasts to plan for capacity ahead of time. Communicate these forecasts and capacity needs with Google ahead of time. And iterate. Consistency and predictability is built by doing this regularly. This year, the pandemic has become a critical and disruptive facet of our lives. As the world quarantined, at Unity we saw an increased engagement with games from players across the globe. Here are some ways we planned for it. From the get-go, we focused on staying ahead of the scale. The last thing we wanted to do was disrupt the player experience due to our inability to handle traffic during these times. This meant focusing on our users and their interactions with our systems, and staying ahead of potential issues. Our central infrastructure teams doubled down on their focus on GCP, in particular SRE and the engineering teams with ownership of high-scale services. This also led to proactive collaboration with GCP to plan for upcoming scale needs. Finally, and I consider this to be so important, as our engineering teams focused on handling increased scale, we also doubled down on our focus on their well-being. It's easy in such cases to feel like it's all hands on deck, but it is equally important that your engineers focus on their personal health and well-being, and that they feel supported by their organization in doing so. I encourage you to be intentional in planning for this. These philosophies on managing enterprise scale in GCP have worked well for us at Unity, and I look forward to hearing from you on how it has helped you too.
Thank you, Venk, for really giving us a good view into how Unity is managing their operations on GCP. So in this last bit today in the presentation, we're going to talk about how on the Google side, we are enabling Unity's success and behind the scenes. And the first part of that, what we want to talk about is the shared goals that the Google team and Unity had laid out at the beginning of our engagement together, and how we have continued it through the years. The Google PSO team and the broader customer experience org, including our CSM team and support team, and Unity had taken a shared goals approach to this relationship, which has ultimately resulted in shared success and has also helped Unity in its bigger mission of empowering creators across industries and around the world. Setting up this shared goal was really, really important. Because that led to the creation of our joint success framework that I want to talk about, because this was really, really important, again, to enable and making sure Unity is successful on GCP. The first pillar of the joint success framework is the deep engineering partnership. Unity engineering and Google engineering are tied to the hip, and not, in engineering interactions on a daily basis is the norm, and that's how we have managed for the last 2 years. Which ultimately leads to Unity, shaping a lot of the Google products that, and really strongly influencing our product roadmap. Unity Engineering and Google Engineering, again, partner on open source contribution as well. Open Match and is one of the well-known open source contributions that we have had jointly. There's many more that we are kind of working on. And then finally, Ananth talked about the Apex Legend launch. A launch like that would not be successful if we do not do proactive capacity planning for each workload that we are onboarding and each launches that are happening. And proactive capacity planning, understanding the requirement, making sure those regions and those zones, like we are planning through the capacity, has really, really been helpful for Unity to scale up on the platform. So that's all on the deep engineering partnership that we have across these different attributes. Next part of the pillar is the professional services and Unity interlock. The PSO team has been working as an extension of the Unity team for the past 2 years. What that means is some of the team members globally working on Unity account has actually spent more time at Unity than they have at Google. That's how close and we are to the Unity team, and that's how PSO is working with them for the last 2 years. Secondly, a lot of our internal developer tools are already integrated with the developer workflow for Unity, which means that we have been able to foster a lot of collaboration between the two teams, and the TAMs have been primarily really, really important to enable that collaboration. Third piece is what the TAMs are enabling is many multiple product management sessions for each of the existing products and what's coming down the pipe. You saw in the deep engineering partnership, I talked about how Unity is shaping our product roadmap. That's been enabled through these product sessions, which the TAMs are driving and doing each and every quarter. And finally, the other thing that the TAMs really help is the war room setup for each of these critical launches. Like when a new game launches, and again, talking through the Apex Legend launch, they had 50 million users in 24 days that Ananth talked about. Like to manage that scale, we need to have war room. Things always might go wrong. So, setting up this war room for every critical launches is really, really important. The third pillar of the success framework is enablement and learning. That means GCP training is well integrated into the curriculum of Unity's internal learning path. That means each and every engineer who touches GCP has to kind of gets upskilled on GCP. And I'll talk about how what we are doing from our side to enable further training within Unity. Right now, we have about 100 engineers from Unity already taken multiple classes, and we are aiming to almost double the number this year. And then finally, Unity and Google are always partnering on Imaginism event. Like, for example, this is one of these sessions, but then also we have participated in Unity's event, which is Unite, and jointly presented. So overall, we are always kind of sharing our story with the broader world through separate evangelism events. And then finally, the last pillar of the joint success framework is the strong exec sponsorship that we have from both sides. We have executive level leadership councils that meet annually or biannually to talk through how things are going and reviewing the broader partnership. We have quarterly technical reviews each quarter to assess the partnership goals and also plan through what are the priorities for the next coming quarter. And then more tactically, there is weekly program management sync for strategic alignment and making sure what we are doing on a weekly basis is aligned to what Unity needs at the moment. So all this put together creates the joint success framework that has and almost talks about the engagement model we have with Unity that we have taken over the last 2 years as Unity has migrated and scaled up on the platform. Next, I'm going to talk about particularly how customer experience org within Google has been helping Unity again behind the scenes, enabling all the things that you saw. I talked a little bit on TAMs. The TAMs are working on the long-term success and advocacy and bringing the product expertise and best practices to Unity team. We have 3 TAMs aligned globally right now who are supporting Unity day in, day out as they scale up on the platform. Second point, and I'm going to double click on this in the next section, which is a foundation and training, which is kind of again enabling Unity on GCP just from a skill perspective. Third is a very important piece, which is the Google Customer Reliability Engineering Program. We call it Google CRE program, and the CREs are basically ex-Google SREs who are customer facing. And our CREs have been partnering very closely with Unity's SRE team to design for reliability, operational readiness around particular applications that we are onboarding, as well as making sure we are configuring platform signals so we are proactively getting alerts when potentially something might go wrong in the future. This has been a very, very critical element of making sure Unity has a great customer experience on the platform, just being proactive about these things. And then lastly, again, I touched upon this a little bit, which is the go-live and the critical event support. Every time we are setting up war room, making sure we have planned the capacity, making sure there is dedicated support engineers, looking at the metrics as Unity goes live, either with a game or with a particular workload. Finally, the global support operating model. Our support team operates 24/7. Each and every Unity P1 cases is responded within 15 minutes, making sure that there is somebody looking at it every time something critical happens. Our support team is getting more and more context aware. That means that they know the architecture Unity is using. They know the different scenarios and the different use cases Unity has, so that they can come to a resolution much quicker. This is done through creating shared operational playbooks and customer context, and the TAMs are playing a key role on making sure our support team is completely aware and has context on what Unity is doing. So all these elements of customer experience coming together, again, is key to making Unity successful on GCP. The last piece that I'm going to focus on now is, again, I talked about this in the last 2 sections already, which is training and training at scale. Unity is a pretty large organization. They have hundreds of engineers, and making sure those engineers they know GCP and skilled on GCP is really, really important. So Google PSO is collaborating constantly with Unity and partners to deliver at scale on the learning objectives of, we have already trained 100 engineers. Our aim is to almost double the number. We are identifying the training needs. We are creating customized courses to make sure they are fit for use and fit for purpose for Unity's engineering org. We are doing multiple coordination and scheduling across the globe because, again, they are very decentralized in terms of the engineering presence across the world. We are enabling sessions, and then we are also, with sponsorship from our leadership, kind of enabling the team to even get certified on the platform. So we've definitely trained over 100 engineers now, but we are also looking to double the numbers in coming months. So all in all, I talked about the different elements behind the scene that Google is doing to make sure that Unity is getting successful on the platform. Obviously, it has taken a village to make the customer successful. These are all the team members who have worked day in, day out across the globe in different regions, trying to make sure that Unity scales up on GCP successfully. It can help its partners launch games on the platform successfully, and also overall have a good operational experience. So again, all of them couldn't be present in this session, but I just wanted to call out that it takes a village to support a large enterprise account like Unity. So thank you to everybody here who has successfully, from Google side, who has helped support Unity's journey over the past 2 years. So massive kudos. So that brings us to the end of the presentation today. Thank you for listening to me, Ananth, and Venk as we went through the Unity stories and how they have scaled up and are managing operations of the platform. Thank you so much for joining us today, and all the best. Thank you.